Something shifted last night, not in a subtle way. Not in a way you can dismiss as a mood or a phase. At approximately 11:30 p.m. Eastern, Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system, the ancient lord of abundance, the force that governs everything you believe about what is possible for your life, stopped its 4-month reversal and began moving forward again. For the first time since November. For the first time in 122 days. The planet that rules expansion, faith, and the doorways that open in your life woke up, and it woke up in Cancer, the sign of roots, of home, of the deepest emotional ground you stand on. But here is what nobody is telling you. The next 48 hours are not the time to rush forward. They are not the time to make the move you have been waiting to make, because something else is happening at the same time, and if you do not understand it, you will mistake this moment for a green light, when it is actually a threshold, and thresholds require you to pause before you cross. If you have been feeling it, the restlessness, the strange pull to act, the sense that something is finally unlocking you, are not imagining it. Your body has been responding to this shift for days. You may have noticed a tightness across your chest beginning to ease. You may have woken between 3 and 5 a.m. with a clarity that vanished by morning. You may have been visited by memories. You thought you had buried the face of someone you have not spoken to in years. The feeling of a place you used to call home. A version of yourself you thought you had outgrown, but suddenly miss with an ache you cannot explain. You may have experienced sudden waves of emotion, crying without knowing why, or feeling a warmth flood through your body in the middle of an ordinary moment. Some of you have felt your lower back seize. Some of you have felt a heaviness in your jaw release. These are not coincidences. These are the physical signatures of a planet changing direction, and your nervous system has been registering what your conscious mind has not yet caught up to. Stay here, because in the next few minutes, you are going to understand 3 things. First, what Jupiter's station direct in Cancer just activated in your emotional foundation, and why you have been feeling what you have been feeling. Second, the 5 specific things you must not do during this 48-hour window, and what to do instead. And third, a practice you can do tonight that will align you with what Jupiter is now offering, rather than what Mercury retrograde is still distorting. Here is the architecture of what is happening in the sky right now. Jupiter stationed direct at 15 degrees and 5 minutes of Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal water sign. It governs the 4th house in the natural zodiac, the house of home, family, ancestry, emotional security, and the inner foundation upon which every other part of your life is built. Jupiter has not visited Cancer in 12 years. The last time Jupiter moved through this sign was 2013 and 2014. Think about who you were then. Think about what you believed was possible. Think about what you were building and what you were clinging to. Jupiter in Cancer is what the ancient astrologers called Jupiter in its exaltation. This is the sign where Jupiter operates at its highest capacity. In the traditional texts, Jupiter exalted in Cancer represents the principle that true abundance is not external. It is not about more. It is about deeper roots, deeper trust, deeper emotional honesty about what you actually need to feel safe in your life. When Jupiter went retrograde in November, that process of deepening turned inward. You are asked to revisit, to reconsider, to sit with uncomfortable questions about whether the life you are building actually matches the person you are becoming. For 4 months, the Lord of Abundance held a mirror to your emotional truth and asked you not to look away. Now it has turned direct. The mirror is lowering and the path is visible again, but the path is not yet clear. Because Mercury, the planet of the mind, of communication, of decision-making, of every contract you sign and every word you speak, is still retrograde in Pisces, and it will not turn direct until March 20th. This is the tension. Jupiter says go, Mercury says wait. Jupiter opens the door. Mercury scrambles the map. This is why the next 48 hours require not action, but precision. Not speed, but awareness. The electromagnetic resonance of a planet stationing, changing from retrograde to direct motion, creates a point of intensified energy that many sensitive individuals register in the body before they register it in the mind. Jupiter governs the liver in medical astrology, and it governs the arterial blood. It governs the expansion of tissue, the widening of possibility within the physical form. When Jupiter stations, those who are attuned may feel a surge in the solar plexus, a warmth spreading beneath the ribs, or a sudden appetite not just for food, but for life, for experience, for forward motion, for the taste of something you have been denying yourself. The pineal gland, which responds to gravitational and electromagnetic fluctuations, may produce more vivid dreams during station periods. If you have been dreaming of houses, of water, of mothers or mother figures, of being held or being abandoned, of kitchens you used to know, of rooms you have never seen but somehow recognize this as Jupiter in Cancer, speaking through the only language your sleeping mind can hear. The body knows before the mind agrees. The body always knows first. And here is the complication. Meanwhile, Mercury retrograde in Pisces is dissolving the boundaries between memory and imagination, between what happened and what you wish had happened, between what someone said and what you felt they meant. Pisces is the sign where the edges disappear, where reality becomes porous, where the difference between intuition and wishful thinking is almost impossible to discern without stillness. Your inner ear fluid responds to subtle gravitational shifts, and the combination of Jupiter's station with Mercury's backward drift through the most oceanic sign in the zodiac may have created moments of dizziness, disorientation, or the strange sensation that time itself has become unreliable. You may have walked into a room and forgotten why. You may have started a sentence and lost the thread before you reached the end. You may have looked at your phone and seen a message that seemed to say one thing, only to reread it an hour later and find it said something entirely different. This is not illness. This is not a failing of your mind. This is your body reading the sky. And the sky right now is telling two stories at once, one about opening, one about waiting, and your nervous system is trying to hold both without breaking. There is also the matter of the moon. Today the moon reaches its last quarter phase in Sagittarius, forming a square to the sun in Pisces. This is a tension point, a friction between what you believe and what you feel. Sagittarius wants the big picture. Pisces wants the deep feeling. The square between them creates a moment where your faith and your vulnerability are in direct conversation. And the moon is also forming a trine to Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer, the part of your chart that holds the oldest pain and the deepest capacity for wisdom. When the moon trines Chiron on a day like today, old wounds surface not to reopen but to show you how far you have come. You may feel a tenderness today that has no obvious cause. You may find yourself thinking about something that happened years ago and suddenly understanding it from a completely different angle. That is Chiron. That is grace wearing the mask of old pain. Let it move through you. Do not resist it. Do not analyze it. Let your body do what it already knows how to do, which is heal when given permission. Now listen carefully. These are the 5 things you must not do on March 11th and 12th. Do not make a major decision about your living situation. Jupiter stationing direct in Cancer will make home-related changes feel suddenly urgent. You may wake up tomorrow convinced that you need to move, that you need to leave, that you need to sign a lease or break one. The feeling is real, the timing is not. Mercury retrograde in Pisces is clouding the details. The numbers on the page may not be accurate. The person promising you something may not fully understand what they are offering. The emotional pull toward a place is valid, but acting on it while the planet of communication is still moving backward through the most illusory sign in the zodiac is like trying to read a street sign through fog. Write down what you want. Describe the home you are ready for. Fold that paper and place it somewhere warm. Do not sign anything until after March 20th. Do not try to have the defining conversation with a family member. Jupiter in Cancer will crack open old family patterns with extraordinary force now that it is direct. You may feel an overwhelming need to finally say the thing you have been holding, to confront a parent, to set a boundary with a sibling, to tell someone in your bloodline the truth about how their choices shaped you. That conversation is coming. It is necessary. But Mercury retrograde will guarantee that the words come out wrong, that you say too much or not enough, that the tone lands differently than you intended, that what you mean as honesty will be received as attack. Wait. Write the letter. Write every word of it. Read it to yourself. Let your body feel what it feels to finally speak that truth, even if only to yourself. Then wait until the first week of April, when Mercury has cleared its post-retrograde shadow and your words can land on solid ground. Do not launch a project, a business, or a creative endeavor. Jupiter stationing direct releases 4 months of compressed potential. You may feel a burst of inspiration so powerful it feels irresponsible not to act on it. You may suddenly see the whole picture, the name, the plan, the audience, the vision. Trust the vision. Do not trust the execution. Not yet. Mercury retrograde in Pisces means contracts will have hidden clauses. Emails will be misread. The platform you build on may glitch. The collaborator who says yes may not understand what they are agreeing to. Capture everything. Build your document. Fill your notebook. Create the prototype in private. But do not release it into the world during this window. The world is not ready to receive it clearly. You are the seed. This week, you stay underground. You root. You do not bloom. Do not return to a relationship that ended during the retrograde period. Mercury retrograde is famous for sending people backward. Old names appearing in your phone, old faces appearing in your dreams, old feelings appearing in your chest, as though they never left. Jupiter stationing direct in Cancer amplifies this tenfold, because Cancer is the sign of emotional memory, of longing, of the pull toward what once felt like home. If someone from your past has resurfaced, notice it. Honor what it meant. But do not mistake nostalgia for destiny. The version of you that loved that person may not be the version of you that is standing here now, and the version of them that is reaching out may be responding to the same cosmic pull without having done the same inner work. Let the wave pass. If it is real, it will still be real in April. Do not make a financial commitment based on how you feel. Jupiter governs abundance. Cancer governs emotional security. When Jupiter stations direct in Cancer, money and feelings become entangled in ways that can be profoundly healing or profoundly costly. You may feel moved to invest in something that promises safety, a house, a course, a healing retreat, a ring. The impulse may be genuine, but Mercury retrograde in Pisces turns financial details into watercolor, beautiful from a distance, impossible to read up close. Every number deserves a second look. Every promise deserves a second conversation. Every price deserves a second opinion. Protect your resources the way you would protect someone you love, with patience, with discernment, with the willingness to wait one more week. Now, let me speak to those of you who are feeling this most acutely. Cancer. This is your transit. Jupiter stationing direct in your first house is the moment the dam breaks. Everything you have been holding, every question about your worth, your direction, your right to take up space, is now being answered. Not all at once, but the answer has begun. You may feel physically different this week. Lighter, more present, more hungry for life than you have been in months. Trust that feeling, but do not let the hunger make you reckless. You are being offered a 12-year gift. There is no rush. The abundance is not going anywhere. It is coming to you. Let it arrive at its own pace. Aries. Saturn and Neptune are both in your sign right now. You are already undergoing one of the most profound identity restructurings of your lifetime. Jupiter going direct in your fourth house now adds the dimension of home and roots to that process. Something about where you come from or where you live is ready to evolve. But the Saturn-Neptune conjunction building in your sign demands that evolution be real, not performed. Do not move to escape, move to arrive. There is a difference, and your body knows which one you are doing. Libra. Jupiter is moving direct in your 10th house of career, public life, and calling. You may have spent the last 4 months questioning whether you are on the right path, whether the work you do matters, whether anyone sees you. The answers are beginning to arrive, but they may not look like applause. They may look like a quiet knowing, a door that opens without fanfare, a conversation that shifts something fundamental about how you see your purpose. Do not wait for the world to validate you this week. Validate yourself. The recognition follows the rootedness, not the other way around. Pisces. Mercury is retrograde in your sign. Mars is in your sign. And Jupiter, your ancient ruler, just went direct in your 5th house of creative expression, joy, romance, and the things that make life feel worth living. You are in the center of the storm and the center of the blessing at the same time. Your dreams are vivid. Your intuition is almost unbearably loud. Your sensitivity is a superpower right now, but it is also a vulnerability. Do not let other people's noise drown out what you are hearing from within. The universe is speaking to you in a language only you can understand. Go slow enough to hear it. Capricorn. Jupiter is moving direct in your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, and committed relationships. If you have been questioning a partnership, personal or professional, the 4 months of retrograde forced you to sit in that question without an easy answer. Now the answer is beginning to form, but it may not be the one you expected. Jupiter in the 7th house does not always mean a relationship arrives. Sometimes it means a relationship evolves into something you did not know it could become. Sometimes it means you finally see someone clearly for the first time. And sometimes it means you see yourself clearly within the context of another person. And that clarity changes everything. Do not force resolution this week. Let the resolution find its own shape. Your patience is not passivity. It is power. Sagittarius. Jupiter is your ruling planet. When your ruler changes direction, you feel it in your marrow. Jupiter, stationing direct in your 8th house, is activating the deepest, most private territory of your chart: shared resources, intimacy, debts both financial and emotional, transformation, and the parts of life that happen behind closed doors. You may have spent the last 4 months confronting something about trust, about vulnerability, about what it costs you to let someone all the way in. Now the energy shifts forward. But the 8th house does not work in the daylight. It works in the depths. Whatever is transforming in your life right now, let it transform at its own pace. Do not drag it into the light before it is ready. Some things are more powerful when they emerge on their own. Here is what I want you to do tonight. This is not a meditation. This is not a visualization. This is something physical, something real, something your body will remember. Find a piece of paper, not your phone, not a screen, paper. Something you can hold in your hands. At the top, write today's date, March 11th, 2026. Beneath it, write this sentence: the door that is opening for me is. Do not think. Do not edit. Do not try to be spiritual or poetic or correct. Write whatever comes. It may be one word. It may be a paragraph. It may surprise you. It may frighten you. It may make you cry. Whatever it is the truth that Jupiter spent 4 months preparing you to see. When you are done, fold the paper once. Place it under your pillow tonight. Sleep with it there. When you wake tomorrow, before you look at your phone, before you check your messages, before you let the world back in, unfold the paper and read what you wrote. Read it slowly. Read it with the same reverence you would give to a letter written by someone who loves you very much, because that is exactly what it is. Jupiter is awake. The path is opening. But Mercury is still whispering in the fog. And the wisest thing you can do right now is not rush toward what is coming. It is to stand still long enough to recognize it when it arrives. The next 9 days between now and March 20th, when Mercury stations direct, are not a waiting period. They are a preparation. You are not being held back. You are being held. There is a difference. And if you can feel that difference in your body right now, you already know everything you need to know. If this found you at the right moment, leave a comment, not for me, for the person scrolling through at 2 a.m. who needs to know they are not alone in what they are feeling. If there is someone in your life who has been on the edge of a decision, who has been restless, who has been aching for something they cannot name, send this to them. It may be the only thing that makes sense to them today. And if you want to continue walking through these transits with someone who will tell you the truth about what the sky is doing to your life, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because what is coming on March 18th, the new moon in Pisces with 7 planets gathered in Aries, is something you are going to want to be prepared for. You did not find this by accident. Something in you recognized the signal before your mind could name it. Trust that. Trust yourself. And when the time comes to move, you will not need anyone to tell you. Your bones will know.